everyone, welcome to episode 16 of the Slated Double Features podcast with your hosts, Joshua Francisco Mitchell, and wait a second, from the top rope, it's Matthew Vivian.
Howdy.
Famously cowboy-inspired wrestler Matthew Vivian.
That's me. Sorry if I'm a bit out of breath. I've just been beating up everyone in my vicinity. I've been practicing, I've been throwing them out windows, I've been swanton bombing them, I've been doing everything.
You've been beating off so many men.
Yeah. It just reminded me of that. Have you seen the
Dan
BBC
Stevens
breakfast? You must have had to beat off a lot of American men. Oh God, have you seen Dan Stevens on the One Show as well? When he's talking about playing, I can't remember who he was, but it was some villain.
Beast.
And he was like, and he was just giving this really nasty description. Then he was like, "No, sorry, that's the intro to Boris Johnson." And the presenter's like, "Like we don't know what to do here."
It's like pure This Time with Alan Partridge.
What a guy.
How have you been?
I've been pretty good. Yeah, watched a lot of films, edited a lot, but not enough. I need to get it finished.
How's it looking?
It's looking a lot better than it was, but the current section I'm doing, the fight bit, the Snowden stuff, looks awful. The coverage is so bad, but I'm doing what I can.
They were hard days.
It's improving.
They were really hard days.
Well, it's because I'm like in all those, even though I'm not really doing anything. I'm always standing there, so I can't really watch it while it's being filmed. So I had to watch, and it was so fast. I just have to we just have to skip through it. The camera would just show me really quick. I'd be like, yeah, that'll do, and it's just. It just doesn't have the coverage, and I thought at the time I should have put more care in, but we were running out of time. Literally, it was getting dark when we finished, so
it was really hard. Yeah, I'm very excited to see it. The next cut, I've only seen about halfway.
Yeah, well, I'm just past the halfway point now. Well, I mean, I can actually send you more stuff because when I sent you that supposed picture lock, I've done so much more since then. It wasn't even close. And
obviously, this is all coming out May 14th, isn't it? So everyone put that in your diaries. That's a confirmed
date. That. I'm not sure it is confirmed.
March 31st, this is coming out.
I'm trying to,
cinemas near you.
I'm going to try and submit it to Birmingham Film Festival before then, but I don't know if it's going to be possible. I don't think it'd be possible in the time. Because that's when the early bird is, so I might have to pay a little bit more. Oh well, it is what it is.
Crowdfund. I
don't want to. I feel guilty about doing it. Can I just not use my own money? Right, what have you been up to? Have you started on your short yet? Started writing anything? Or
I have.
Have you?
I hate getting back into a project after not doing a project for a long old time, because the last film was
the same
Helping Hand.
Yeah. Is that coming out soon?
Yes, that'll be out hopefully this month, next month.
Cool.
For wide release. But yeah, I kind of get into the mindset of there is so much I can do. I want to do so many things in so many genres. I can do anything. And then you get down to write and it's like there is nothing to do. Everything's been done. There are no new ideas.
That's exactly how I am.
So I've decided... It's so hard. It's such a weird, post-work mindset. So I've decided I just want it to be a snappy, fun, engaging action comedy.
Yep.
Akin to Raising Arizona, the fight in the trailer, or like The World's End bathroom fight.
Brilliant.
Just room to room, very low stakes, but very snappy and well done.
That sounds very fun.
I'm not worried about writing. I don't want it to be overly written. I want it to be very visual and dynamic, and I feel like that would be very fun for us to do.
I think that's a great idea. I think, definitely looking forward to that. No, I'm at the point I need to start writing another short, because, I still got a lot of editing to do, but I feel like I need to write a long time before filming, because then... I'm not a professional. You notice a lot of problems, and so you need to redraft it a lot. Sometimes it could be ages, and there's been a problem in the script from the start, and you only just clocked it now. So I need the time really. So I'm going to start writing something. But it's weird because you come up with those ideas, but they're all unfilmable.
Weird, isn't it? It's so weird. I mean, the last time we spoke, you said your next idea was going to be kind of a pseudo. Biography about your kind of sex perversion. Is that still something you're moving forward with?
It's certainly one of the ideas. Well, I mean, I've got a lot of ideas now, but I think that's maybe better for a TV show, like a long running. I don't know if sitcom's the right term, but like a 20 episode sort of thing. For about. I'm not going to continue this line of improv.
God. I think that's a good point to move on to weekly roundup. Yee Haw.
I think it is. Yee Haw.
There he is, the wrestler's back.
I'm back.
The wrestler from Ram Ranch.
Yeah, it's me. Right. No, that's more of a Rick Grimes accent.
What have you seen since last time we recorded?
So that'd be since Argyle. Right.
Oh, God.
I'm not going to start with a film. I'm going to start with a question. What happens when you order a Disney film on Wish? You get Wish 2023, which is one of the worst films I've ever seen.
Really? Is it that bad?
Have you? It's so atrocious.
Wow.
So it's supposedly the next Disney princess film, but they're sort of... I don't know if she will get added to the roster, Asher, because the film is so bad. If she's not popular.
Wait, you mean Asher from The Curse?
From Nathan Fielder is the new Disney princess. Yeah, his voice is unique, but I think the lyrics sort of make the songs good. No, it's about Asher, played by Ariana DeBose, who is the most dislikable lead character in any fiction. Wow. She's just so irritating. And like in all the old princess films, they're just submitting to their husband, sort of no personality sort of thing. Yeah. And in the modern ones, they make them the hero and everything. And they
rebel. They rebel against society or family or something.
And to try and get away from just being pretty, they're always doing like weird faces and expressions and big, they're animated. But they do that in this one, like to the point where it doesn't make sense. Like she's always just doing weird animation. She's always like she's on cocaine the whole time, just to make her like quirky and not fitting the archetype. But it's like just slow down and stop being so annoying. And I hated her. Maybe kids would like. No, they wouldn't. She's not good. And she's got an animal sidekick.
What about the lamb?
Oh my god! I wanted to boot him. I want to boot him so far. The villain, the star. Oh, unmemorable. I don't remember anything. It doesn't do anything. Yeah, it's rubbish. Not cute. It's not wasting my time. Villain, Chris Pine, terrible. One Dimension. Well, I guess that's to be expected. But no, awful. The animation is so bad. Like,
did I see that it's almost like cell shaded? Like it's 3D but has an outline or something like that?
Yeah, it is. So I think they're trying to... Because it's the 100th anniversary of Disney, so they're...
Happy birthday, Disney.
Happy birthday.
Wow.
So I think they try to do a mixture between like the 2D animation style and the 3D, but it just looks like really poor 3D. It's not like, Spider-Verse or like the new Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles has like very 2D looking parts of it. It looks like sort of hand-drawn. But I guess because the original one, they didn't have texture to it really, apart from like film grain. So it doesn't really work when you translate that. It just means there's no texture to the 3D image. So it looks like a phone game. It doesn't even look like a video game. It looks like a shit like phone game.
A bit like the... have you seen the new Chip and Dale?
Yeah.
Where you've got one of them who is... like quote 2D and one of them has the 3D surgery. Yeah. But the 2D one, it's still a 3D model, but just colours flat.
Yeah, it looks 2D. So yeah, it's really terrible. And the songs, the one which they're like really pushing is like This Wish, I think it's called. It's like, so
you mean Wish by Skilo?
This wish. No, I don't.
I wish I was a little bit taller. I wish I was a baller.
Oh, that rings a bell. What's that from? No, it's not that. No, it's not that, Joshua. No, don't be silly. There's too many syllables. Anytime Asher sings, she sings in like twice as many words per sentence as she should do, but not in like a clever like Lin-Manuel Miranda way. Like this time a few years ago, I was slagging off Encanto because it was unoriginal. But the song slapped. And now, looking back, Encanto, substantially better than this. One of the songs is good. It's called Know What I Know Now. That one slapped. All the rest, dreadful. Okay. So don't watch it. It's terrible. Let's move on to my next film.
Well, I was going to say, it's such a weird departure. Obviously, graduating from one of the best business schools in America with really good grades. Yeah. And then becoming a Disney princess. That's great.
But he moved... Well, yeah, it is. And he moved to LA to try and make his career good. And he did The Curse, obviously, which I'm sure we'll talk about in a minute.
Yeah.
I don't know. I wish him all the best, but this just wasn't the role for him.
From one Asher to another,
oh my
I finished The Curse.
You did. I saw you liked it. Tell me about it.
This is big spoiler warning. If you've seen The Curse, or you're watching The Curse, or you're going to watch The Curse, please skip ahead. Time code's below. We're going to talk about the ending of The Curse.
Ooh.
Oh, I went into episode 10 thinking, wow, everyone has either told me it's shit, it's not in keeping with the rest of the show.
Yeah.
And if that wasn't there, it would have been a perfect series. Like episode 10, it really falls apart. I loved it. I thought the finale was
my favourite episode of the series. Yeah.
So good. To be fair, I haven't looked up any The Curse Explains.
I did a brief Google and no one seemed to really get it.
What do you think the ending was?
I don't really know, because I didn't look it up either, really. I mean, I asked a bit like, so why was he falling into space? And it was just like, well, yeah, because he was cursed. And that's just what I got from it.
Yeah.
But I thought there'd be like some foreshadowing about that sort of curse going upwards, but it's never in any way hinted.
Yeah. So it seems like the first curse you get, Nala curses the chicken out of Asher's dinner. So it looks like the curse kind of takes something away.
Nala from The Lion King.
Don't be so silly. This is not a Disney episode.
Nala, Alfie Days and Zoella's dog.
Great. And then it seems like Dougie, when Asher said, ask your wife, Dougie cursed him and took away his gravity.
That's what it seems. Yeah, I think it was Dougie that did it. It wasn't the daughter.
Yeah. But it happened after Asher and Whitney are in the car and they're talking about the baby moving, and she says, oh, the baby will turn round, like its head will go to the nin side rather than the boob side when it's ready to come out.
Yeah.
And then the following day he's on the ceiling upside down, so head to the ground.
Yeah. As
she's going into labour with the baby.
Yeah.
So I thought he was going to go up into space and then come out as the baby. I thought that was going to be the big shock.
Well, maybe that's
but the fact that he was flying, I didn't think that was overly horrific. I just thought it was like a baby thing. I thought it was.
Well, is it meant to be like a metaphor? Because I don't really know what it was metaphor for. It was more just entertaining. It did feel like a lot of the plot stuff didn't really get resolved, and obviously Whitney is such an awful person, and I hate her so much. And she just gets like no repercussions for any of her actions. And Asher, you start off the series thinking like, oh, he's going to be the knobhead, and like. And he does some bad stuff, obviously, like with the Barkhad Abdi, like fake giving money to their family, and then but then you afterwards,
he's
like,
just a bit thick, isn't he?
He is,
like,
and you just
kind of feel sorry for him.
You feel sorry for him because he's just such a sort of a pussy and like a bit of an NPC, and like he just gets walked over by everyone.
But then everything she does is spiteful. Yeah. Which is the big difference. Even at the end, when Moses, I think his name is, the guy who comes around to help her give
doula,
birth. Yeah. I'd be like, I'm so sorry. You're going to have to deal with yourself.
Yeah.
That baby's coming out only by you. There is a man flying here.
Yeah, that's what I
need to pull
that's
this man
ridiculous.
Down. But then I think that plays into the themes as well, that like he is nothing. He's never anything in the show. Yeah. It's all about her.
And even when they're getting him out of the tree,
narcissism themes.
Yeah, no one's got any sympathy for him. Sort of, they're all just like, oh, fuck, I'm gonna waste my time with all this.
That was a stunt for a TV show, I guess.
Yeah. And he flies into space, and apart from Benny Safdie, no one seems to. They always move on with their lives after.
I think the only way you could sum it up, they fly now.
They fly now. But I do think, so I saw you gave it 5 stars. I think
5 stars. I loved it.
The finale is really memorable. I think. Tell me what happens in episode 7. No idea. Like it's 10 episodes of a very slow show. Very
slow, but I think that's a very positive.
I think it's slightly too slow. But I do like it being a slow. But I do, because I think the first episode I watched and I was like, this is brilliant. And then I watched like 2 and 3 and I was like, oh, okay, we've really slowed down the pace now. Just a lot less like important things are happening. And there's still like good interactions with the characters, but it doesn't add much to the overall story. Yeah.
It's just great character work.
But it's really good.
What else have you seen?
I've seen Parasite. It's fantastic.
Great.
We don't
5 stars.
Perfect, yeah. Natural Born Killers?
I really enjoyed it.
I wasn't that into it. I've heard a lot about it. I've seen a lot of interviews with Quentin Tarantino where he's like, because he wrote the script and then Oliver Stone was directing it and they changed the script loads and he said, this is awful, I hate it. Give me a story by credit, but I want nothing else. And he's never seen the film. I watched it because I saw another like interview, a recent one, and he was saying like, yeah, he tried to see it in the cinema and he walked out after like 5 minutes.
Wow.
Because it was in the sitcom sort of bit, which I actually really liked. Yeah, I just thought in general the film, I liked it, and I loved the weird style.
I think the projection bits, that's the bit I remember.
That was cool. it just keeps going to like black and white and Dutch angles like mad, and yeah, like weird visions, like the flashback to showing her like horrifying origin story with her dad abusing her was like a sitcom. I thought that was really cool. I think maybe when I was going over the hour part, I was a bit like, okay, this is a bit exhausting now, and I also I don't feel like it's necessary in every scene. There's certain scenes where I think it really works for it, other bits where I feel like it's getting in the way. And if it was a Tarantino film, which probably be non-linear, but apart from that, I think would be a bit more just straight, we're here with the dialogue and the characters, I think I might prefer it.
Okay, that's fair.
But there was stuff I liked and stuff I didn't like.
It's in a similar band to True Romance. True Romance is much better. Yeah,
and another one he wrote but didn't direct, From Dusk Till Dawn. That's sort of more, the second half of that's kind of more like, I guess. But yeah, no, it was fine. He also said in that interview that he hated Woody Harrelson's performance. And he was like, I can say that because he doesn't like me and I don't like him. Fair enough. Doesn't care. I've got loads more stuff, so I'll go really fast. Ready or Not, have you seen that? It's like a sort of horror thing.
No, is it worth watching?
Yeah, it's quite fun. It's all right.
Okay.
Woman gets married into a rich family. It's a tradition because they're like because they're a board game company.
Classic.
She has to play a game at midnight, which they all have to do until sunrise. She picks a random one. It's hide and seek, and it turns out they have to try and kill her, and she has to hide from them, and she has till dawn because they made some pact. That's the idea. It's quite fun. It's decent. 3.5 stars. How to Blow Up a Pipeline. Everyone was raving about this last year.
Loved it.
Yeah, everyone was absolutely raving about it. I liked it.
And you liked it?
You talk about it. I thought the characters were really hateable, but that's kind of the point, I guess.
Yeah, I gave it 4 out of 5. I thought it's a very effective way of stringing out not a lot of story.
Yeah, it is.
With the plot just being they need to develop a way to blow up a pipeline to cripple oil companies. But it's a lot of flashing back and having...
Yeah, we see like... the origins for each of the characters individually, and so he sort of all these different stories of how they were negatively affected by this in different ways, and then how they've all come together to do this.
And when it happens, like the whole plan being enacted, the final act, that was very tense. Like you don't know if they were going to get away with it. Yeah, I just thought it was a very well put together, a very clever film.
Yeah, it was.
And I'd watch it again.
It was. I gave it 3.5 stars. I did like it, yeah. And to be honest, I was invested in all the flashbacks too. And I think that was quite a good way of making me care about the characters and know who everyone is and remember them. No, it was good. I watched Suncoast. That's a new Disney Plus film. It's sort of autobiographic from the writer-director about a 17-year-old girl. Her brother is dying of brain cancer. Like he's just he's conscious, but he's like not aware of what's going on. He can't talk, can't see or anything. And she just wants to be a 17-year-old, sort of coming of age type thing. Wants to go to the club. She wants to party and drink. But her brother's going to die any day, and her mum wants her with him, and it's that sort of struggle. And Woody Harrelson plays her best friend for some reason, for clickbait. Is why it's weird.
Sick.
And the mum, Laura Linney, never addresses that it's weird that her best friend is a 50-year-old man. It's very strange, but it's fine. Leave the World Behind. Have you seen that?
It's been on my list for a while. I love Mr. Robot.
Okay. Carry on.
I love Mr. Robot. I think it's one of the best TV shows you can get. I'm gutted that it wasn't taken to 5 series. I think it only had 4. And a lot of that was due to Sam Esmail and his writing and his directing, but clearly didn't hold up in the film. What happened?
Well, Sam Esmail didn't write it. Well, he might have adapted it, but it was based on a book, which my mum read. And so I was going to watch it on Netflix when it came out, and I saw the runtime's 2.5 hours, and I was like, maybe not, because the reviews are a bit middling. So my mum read the book, and she liked it, and so we watched it, and oh my god, nothing happens.
Really?
It feels like an M. Night Shyamalan film, kind of. It's very sort of, I'd say, a mixture between Knock at the Cabin or The Visit.
I was going to say, it's kind of similar vibes, isn't it, to Knock at the Cabin?
Yeah, I think a bit of The Happening to a bit of The Visit, but it feels like an M. Night Shyamalan film, and like setting up weird things, you don't really know what's going on, and it feels like a big twist is coming. It feels like there's going to be a reveal of what all this means. That never comes, really. You slightly get told at the end, like, this is what it is, but it's a really anticlimactic way, and it's kind of what the most boring option of what it could have been all along, really.
Okay.
And it's just a hell of, and there's like weird stuff with the animals, the whole poster, all the marketing is a deer.
With the deers,
The deer are weird. Never find out why they're weird. I mean, it's like, it doesn't make sense, the explanation they give, basically. So there's got to be more to it. My mum said the book, they explain even less, and even less happens, even less weird stuff. Yeah, it's a very bizarre film. I think it should have been, an hour and a half, not 2.5 hours, and
Bloody
the end
hell.
point of the movie should have been like the halfway point, because it's like, obviously it's sort of like post-apocalyptic. We're following a family who like barely is affected by it, compared to like they're just outside New York. New York, we know, is in chaos. Can I watch the characters in New York instead, please? I want to see what's happening. It's a bit like Cloverfield, in that you don't really find out because the characters don't find out. But the characters in Cloverfield are in central New York, and they're in the middle of the craziest shit. Happen. It's like if Cloverfield was set in like New Jersey, and they were just watching it from across the bay.
Watching it on the news.
It's not really as interesting. But it was fine. Like, it was whatever.
Okay, all right.
But I wouldn't waste time with it. No, I wouldn't bother. Final one I've got is Impractical Jokers, the movie.
Right, yep, let's move on.
It's one of my favourite TV shows of all time. The movie's shit. It's really bad.
I was watching that as soon as we ended this call, but thank God you said that, because I won't watch it now. Thank you.
Have you watched anything else?
I have only seen Society of the Snow.
Yeah.
And I know you loved it, didn't you? Is that right?
Yeah, I saw you... Yeah.
I very much enjoyed it. I disagree in that it was a Best Picture snub. I don't think it was at all. I don't think it holds up.
That's weird, because I thought it was just brilliant. Really, really emotional. Really interesting. Thought-provoking. I don't know. I thought it was fantastic.
I think my review was something like, it can't shake the fact it's a Netflix film.
I didn't get Netflix vibes from it in the slightest. I know it was on Netflix. No, not at all. I think Netflix has a very distinctive thing, but I didn't get it at all.
Okay. I just thought it looked very flat. I thought it was really interesting having the main character for most of it, spoilers for Society of the Snow, be a guy who dies.
Yeah, that was very surprising. I wasn't expecting that, yeah.
There are so many people on this plane. So if you don't know, it's based on a true story. In October 1972, a plane with a Uruguayan rugby team crashes into the Andes, and they're there for like 72 days. And they resort to cannibalism and all this stuff. But for me, the big character moments, because there are so many people still alive that they feel like they need to pay respect to.
Yeah.
Cannibalism should be a big thing, but they kind of spend a couple of scenes going, should we, shouldn't we? And then they do, and then that's just the rest of the thing. There's no like post repercussions to it. You don't see any like real trauma for that. Like I feel like there are big things that happen. But because it was like 2.5 hours, but you're spanning like 70 days. Yeah. So I completely understand why they've skipped over bits, but I feel like if they had done more into that, focus on one person a lot more, into those big beats.
I do think my biggest issue was that I really struggled to remember who was who. Especially when they're all like wearing big thick coats, you can barely see their face a lot of the time.
Like Gonzalez and Francisco.
They've all got like very... They've all got like every single Spanish name. Luckily, they've all got different names. But it was, I was struggling to remember who was who. Apart from the main guy who looked like Adam Driver.
Yeah, I was going to say, he looked like the Flash.
But yeah, no, but I think the cannibalism, I think they really do, when they first have to do it, the first few days, some of them are really against it and they won't do it because it's their, like, mum and sister and stuff. They don't want to do it. And I think it's kind of all... hearing them talk and I don't know, they're out there for so long, they will die if they don't do it.
Oh yeah,
and it mentions 100%. In the narration how it just had become nothing to them now. Even
like towards the end, I think 2 or 3 of them go off to hike to Chile.
Yeah.
And as a little throwaway comment before they go, one of the lads leans into the other one and says, "I give you permission to eat my mum and sister." Okay, goodbye.
Yeah, but no, but
that's it.
But you say that like that's a stupid comic moment. Like I took that as like that's really sad. No, I did. I took that as it's really sad, but they're saying it in such a nonchalant way because they're so desensitized to it, because it's so horrible, and that made me feel like it was more horrible. But the fact that they were treating it as normal at this point because it's their survival. I think it is just you.
Maybe I was still in the Nathan Fielder mindset.
I think so.
No, it was very good. I thought it was very well directed, and they did a lot with such a limited location.
Yeah, I mean they filmed it in the real place. I don't know how on earth they managed that. I don't know how they got all the crew there and but they did. I just can't believe they survived. Like if it wasn't real, they were stuck underneath an avalanche for about a week. And how'd you do that? Great. Well, that's quite a lot of stuff, but I'm going to go for a wee. quickly, and then we'll talk about some wrestling films. Right, well, a couple of absolute beefcakes like us went to see a film that was written for us. It was made for people like us. The Iron Claw.
Beefcakes.
Beefcakes, yeah. Beef with terrible He-Man haircuts. Would you like to give a little bit of a summary of what happens in this film? Non-spoilers.
Yeah, of course. So this is about 4 adventurers who go on a trek through the jungle to find the mysterious Iron Claw, famous Mayan relic. They mention that it might have some form of mystical power, but we don't know until they find it, and the plot happens.
It does, yes. So the main guy is a Oxford professor.
Famously, yeah. Very Indiana Jones, but yeah.
It's also a musical. What do you think about the songs, first of all? So the opening one, he's in Oxford. It's like the exposition of what the Iron Claw is, what his powers are, the curse that's related to it, the Von Erich curse. What would you think about him?
The first one's about comparative literature. That's the first song, isn't it? 'Cause that's
what he does. Yeah. Well, that's the overture. Yeah.
Yes, yeah. Comparing the literature of Mayan understanding of the Iron Claw, the famed Iron Claw.
Yeah.
And how it just kind of spans all of history, the concept of this Iron Claw.
In different civilizations throughout the world.
Yeah.
It's like how pyramids show up everywhere. There's always like... And like, there's also like crystal skulls are in like every sort of culture.
I know. And Harrison Ford is in every culture.
And Harrison Ford appears in ancient... He's on the Bay of Tapestry. He's everywhere. And so, yeah, the Iron Claw.
We're only JKing, guys. We're just kidding. You know what we're like. We're joshing. Sorry, guys.
It's not. His name isn't Josh for nothing, eh?
It's really about a family of wrestlers called the Von Erichs. And they're surrounded by a lot of tragedy, mostly following Kevin.
Yep.
Zac Efron, and how he deals with all this tragedy that surrounds him. Yeah, based on a true story. What did you think?
I thought it was good. I thought people were going to it saying like how incredible it was. I thought, I don't know, I think because there's very little plot. It's kind of just, it's a biopic. It is just basically them dying one by one.
Yeah, I feel like...
Is that a spoiler?
Spoilers for this? I don't know.
I don't know, but it's a real thing, yeah.
I feel like, go and read Wikipedia. It's a real thing. So this is all probably spoilers?
Yeah,
real?
I think so.
Okay.
I don't know, it was good.
Yeah, I agree. I thought it was good as well. Should not have been nominated for Best Picture. So I completely agree there.
I don't think
it was strong enough for that.
I don't think it got any nominations, did it?
It didn't get anything.
No.
But I feel like Zac Efron should have been nominated for Best Actor.
A lot of people have been saying that, yes. Who would you replace with Zac Efron then? I mean, the only performance I haven't properly seen is Coleman Domingo. Oh, I haven't seen Jeffrey Wright either. I haven't seen American Fiction yet. And I watched the first, 20 minutes of Rust, and I was like, this is boring as shit.
Oh, Bradley Cooper.
Oh, no, but he was very good in the film. It was just a terrible film, and it was...
Yeah, but if we're talking about... So you've got Paul Giamatti, who's there for performance, Cillian Murphy, who's there for performance. Haven't seen Coleman Domingo, haven't seen Jeffrey Wright. If you want one in there for transformative performance, between Bradley Cooper and Zac Efron in Iron Claw, I would give it to Zac Efron every day of the week.
Yeah, I don't know. Paul Giamatti is he was very good in it, but he just seemed like a normal performance to me. It didn't stand out as an Oscar one. And same with, I think Cillian Murphy Oppenheimer was probably the weakest of the lot, I'd say. Not that he's bad in any way. I think he's really good, but
he's going to win. He's going to win.
Oh, of course he's going to win. I think he's great, but it's still because Oppenheimer is just a bloke. Well, he's a very bad bloke.
He's just a fella.
But he's a very he doesn't even have to do a silly voice or anything.
So let's talk about the performances in this.
Okay.
So we have Zac Efron, who plays Kevin, Jeremy Allen White, Kerry, Harris Dickinson, David, Stanley Simons as Mike. So there are 4 brothers.
And the dad's also a very big part of it.
The dad, Holt McCallany.
I'm not familiar with that actor, but he was great.
He is from Mindhunter.
Well,
Sully, your favourite film, Sully.
I've seen Sully.
Yeah, you loved that one, didn't you?
I preferred Mike, A Monsters Inc. story, but I thought Sully was pretty good too. No, I've seen Sully.
The 4 brothers and the dad, I thought they were amazing performances. I thought they did very well. They were very distinct, especially the dynamic between the brothers. I thought the chemistry was very organic.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
And
I've never seen Jeremy Allen White in anything before, because I've never seen The Bear.
You need to watch The Bear.
Even though I get recommended it every week by different people.
Watch The Bear.
I will watch it. He was very good in it, though. Yeah.
Yes.
Very strange looking man.
He is. He's a little fellow. Have you heard about the belly button controversy?
No.
Jeremy Allen White has done a Calvin Klein advert where he's just wearing his pants on a rooftop and he does not have a belly button.
What, because they like photoshopped on a six-pack and they just...
No, I think it's just
airbrushing?
really small and is within one of his six-packs. So it just looks like he doesn't have one.
Right, well, I've typed in Jeremy Allen White and Calvin Klein is the first thing to come up, so let me have a look. Oh, wait, is this it? Oh, God, it does look like he doesn't have one. God, it does. Yeah, I think it's just like, it doesn't really protrude in at all.
Small, yeah.
And it's right in like the ridge of his... Yeah.
Little 5'7" Jeremy.
Oh, wait, no, that what I was thinking was it's something else, because that's way too high up. Oh, God, I don't know.
Exactly. It's way too high up, isn't it? It's like
because then there's like a secondary bump, which I think could be it, but even that's too high up, I think.
But he was engineered, this man.
Yeah, I think he was. I think he's a clone. He was grown in a lab. Well, he was grown from the DNA of Gene Wilder to carry on his legacy. But
great, Zac Efron, I think his transformation for this role, like the first shot is him in bed, and it feels like an awkward frame-in, because you see him sleeping on the pillow, and then he gets up, and you're like, oh, why is it just holding on this? And you see how ripped he is. It is like, you see someone on steroids, it's that. It's just pure veins. It's muscle upon muscle. He is massive. He does not look like Zac Efron. Yeah, I think so. It has to be. It's
just when I remember seeing the set photos when they're first filming this, and like... It almost looks, you know, that Little Britain USA sketch with like the two bodybuilders, but like it's played by Matt Lucas and David Walliams, who are like a bit chunkier, and so like the six-pack is like on top of their fat. Like I thought it kind of looked like that, but I think it probably is.
He is heavyweight, isn't he?
Well, yeah, true.
Throughout the film, it's really weird. It ebbs and flows with the main character. It kind of plays with expectations. That you start with Zac Efron. And him meeting Lily James, and you go with them for a bit, and then his brothers start to go into wrestling, and Harris Dickinson's David then kind of takes the forefront because the dad pushes him to take the title shot, and then he dies, and you're like, oh, okay. And then it's back to Zac Efron, and then Jeremy Allen White comes back, and then he wins the title because the dad's put him there, and then he becomes an amputee. And then he dies. And
all along we've had the youngest brother who just wants to be a musician. He doesn't want to be a wrestler. Who's like forced into it, and he's just nowhere near built enough, and he just gets really injured, and he's in a coma, and then he comes back and he's clearly like brain damaged, and then he commits suicide, and it's just like, God,
so heartbreaking.
That was like the saddest. And I think just it's the fact that they're almost like a cult, like that all of the brothers are like really close, and they all agree that like wrestling isn't, I guess, the be all and end all of life. Like Jeremy Allen White's character was an Olympic shot putter, and then there was the big boycott of the 1980 Olympics in Moscow, and so he couldn't do that, and so he got into wrestling, and so the youngest one wanted to do music, and until his dad really forced him into wrestling, but they're all kind of like, they all support their brother. And if he doesn't want to do it, even though they're all grown men, they don't want to stand up to their dad, sort of thing. It's presented in a way that there's a von Erich curse. Yeah. It's kind of implied that there isn't a curse at all. It's just them horrible parents. They don't say in the film, but do you know how he died? The youngest, the oldest one. I looked up on Wikipedia. Oh my God, it was horrible. So he touched the like tow bar of a car or a van, and it electrocuted him, and which like paralyzed him. He fell forward into some snow and drowned. Oh my God. Yeah, it's crazy. That's horrific. But yeah, I thought they all sold it really well, and I think every death was really emotional, and really hard hitting, and it's all because you're anchored by Zac Efron the entire way. Yeah, I would like to say as well, another big standout, Lily James playing my favourite role that she usually does, which is two-dimensional girlfriend character, to only further the goals and plot of the male character. That's all she does. Yeah, in Baby Driver too. And yesterday she drove me up the wall, probably, because apparently remember when she was having an affair with someone, or it was you, breaking up someone's marriage? Oh, it was me. Yeah, she was breaking up my marriage. I thought the dad was so good. He was so like It didn't feel like I was watching an actor. It felt like this is a genuine guy. I fully believe him. I think maybe because the others I knew all the actors were, but I'd never heard of this guy. And I thought he was fantastic. And he was that character was so, after the first one died from a wrestling, well, I guess complication from the wrestling, they should have been like, right, let's take the season now and let's really watch ourselves. And it just keeps happening, and it only has a negative influence on them. Well, obviously it's that balance of like everything that happens from the wrestling is either really positive because they're like world champions and they get lots of money and security for
recognition,
their family, and then also really negative because they just get, it takes such a toll on them. And that's sort of what the wrestler's about too. And that's also actually a similar theme with that is it's kind of all they know. So they kind of don't feel like they could do anything else.
Definitely the eldest, definitely Kevin.
Another actor, Harris Dickinson. I've seen him in a few things now, and I actually think he's a really good sort of up-and-coming British actor. I like him a lot.
Oh, yeah. Oh, Triangle of Sadness. That's where I know him from.
Yeah, Triangle of Sadness.
Oh, he's
and
very good in that.
He was in The King's Man as well. I thought he was like a really likeable... Because he was like an unknown. I thought he was a really likeable lead in that, and then...
Yeah.
They did a big twist. And I thought he sort of... even though like the others are more famous, he sort of was as good with it. And the youngest one, too. He wasn't at all a known name. I thought he was fantastic.
Very well directed.
Yeah.
Sean Durkin hasn't done much else other than this. But I thought it was very confident, very competent, which is nice. It's not the kind of direction you would expect from someone who like you haven't really heard of.
Yeah, I don't think it blew me away. I think it was quite... There were some times where they like lingered on a shot, and you're sort of like, well, what does this mean? Why are we watching it? Like when near the end, like Zac Efron's just running back and forth into the wire in the ring, and so there's stuff like that which is sort of an interesting thing to show us when, and you're kind of wondering why am I being shown this? But I think it was mostly fairly conventional. It didn't blow me away. But if it's an early thing, then I mean, I think he's got a promising career ahead of him for sure.
Yeah, great. And I would say a similar thing with the cinematography as well. I thought it looked very nice. Very orange, very gold.
I'll take your word for it because I pirated it and it was a cam and it wasn't very good quality. But sure. Wrestling, like I never watched wrestling. I've never known much about it.
Nor did I.
I never watched WWE.
Rowdy Roddy Piper. They Live.
And in Always Sunny as the maniac.
Yeah. Ric Flair was very good in this. Aaron Dean Eisenberg.
He was, yeah. He looked like Jimmy Savile. I saw him. I was like, bloody hell, he's... I didn't know he wrestled adults as well. But yeah, he was...
I would like to talk about the ending.
Okay. Oh, that was so sweet. The bit in heaven. That afterlife bit.
So the dad comes in after farming, whatever. Zac Efron has said he's selling their wrestling company to WWF. And he's like, hey, my wife, where's my dinner at?
Yeah.
And she goes, I'm not doing
Josh,
dinner
we're recording the podcast right now. Can you ask later on? We've got stuff to do. A little bit misogynistic also.
Yes, and she's there painting, the mum. And you never see what she's painting. Obviously, she's a nutcase as well.
Yeah.
Equally to the dad. But from that, you go to an afterlife scene. And what happens in that?
They all meet up. What's his name? Kerry. I knew it was a woman's name.
Jeremy Allen White.
He's the latest one to sort of die, and it's kind of implied because we intercut that with Zac Efron sleeping, so I guess it's kind of meant to be he's dreaming this. But he is in a boat and he's in like I think it's where they live really, their garden, their like lovely ranch, I guess. And he meets up with his other brothers and they're really happy, and I think the youngest one's got a guitar, and then he's like, where's my eldest brother? And they meet like a 6-year-old boy and they're all just hugging, and it's like when they're free of the wrestling and the real world, like you're like, oh, these guys are just great brothers who love each other. And it's sort of like when you see Zac Efron still alive, it's almost like it's sad. It's sadder for him. And what's weird is in real life, like he carried on wrestling. He only retired like 2017 or something, and his sons are like Von Erich wrestlers too. You'd think he'd be like maybe take up.
I would like to hope that he doesn't force them into it. But
yeah, I'm sure he did.
We'll see. Yeah, I thought it was really lovely. A nice like conclusion for them.
Yeah,
to show that they did get peace, because they were really tormented by their parents, and I think that lends itself into the final scene of Zac Efron, his sons, and Lily James pregnant. Yeah, and he's sat there crying, isn't he, watching his son play, and he says that he used to be a brother,
and they're like, we'll be your brother.
Sad.
And what's sad is like,
and I was like, no, you cannot. That's not how brothers work. We did not come out of the same womb. You are my sons.
But you know, like he's crying and his kid's like, it's okay, you can cry, like everyone cries. Whereas that contrast that with when their first brother died at the funeral and they were wearing sunglasses and his dad's like, take those off and don't you dare cry. How the generational sort of toxicity, like getting stripped away.
The trauma.
Yeah, but there's a lot of like toxic masculinity stuff as well. We have to be seen this way. We have to be the manliest. Have to be the. I mean, it shows how destructive it is.
And the Iron Claw itself, the titular Iron Claw.
Yeah.
I've since used that on Delilah, the sausage dog. So I can confirm it's very effective.
Good. Yeah, and the Iron Claw, the relic, is lost at the end. It falls out of the helicopter.
They never find it.
But you see, like it's in like a jungle in the post-credit scene, and then like a hand reaches in and then puts it on and goes, fine, I'll do it myself. And so, yeah, I mean, I'm really looking forward to that. And also, do you think in Deadpool 3 then he's gonna if he's pruning the other universes in the MCU, is he gonna then prune all the Von Erich? Maybe that's why they kept dying, because Deadpool was pruning all of them.
I would like to see Zac Efron get Ryan Reynolds in a big muscly headlock or something.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Oiled up headlock.
We've seen
that'd be so manly, wouldn't it? If they were both naked, like really oiled up, wrestling like two heterosexual men.
Yeah, get Juggernaut in there.
Should.
The Blob. Right, we're just chatting nonsense now. Shall we move on to the next film?
Yes,
what did
I
you
really liked it. I gave it 4 stars.
I gave it 3.5.
Very good. I don't think it's a stand-up from the year, but maybe of the decade. I feel like it will get lost.
Yeah, I think so.
But from last year, I think it was very good.
Yeah, very good. I liked it.
From one family of wrestlers to a single wrestler. The Wrestler. 2008. Matt, what's the plot?
The plot is an aged wrestler he's wrestling, right? But he's getting older, he's getting injured, he does lots of bad shit. He needs to get out of this, man. He's really bad. His girlfriend's a stripper. And he's terrible relationship with his daughter. And he just kind of tries to carry on wrestling when the world's telling him, please stop wrestling.
He wrestles with his addiction.
He wrestles with. So is that what the wrestler means? Is it a double meaning?
Maybe. I don't think Darren Aronofsky is clever enough to think.
No,
of that.
Darren Aronofsky is a genius. Have you seen The Whale? He's a fat man and he's sad, and that's clever because there's two things.
That's true.
So is depth.
That's true. And this one, he's a wrestler and he's sad.
And Moby Dick as well. Like, he's a whale because he's a big fat whale. He's a fat man, but also a whale because his daughter wrote about Moby Dick once.
That's true. Yeah, what did you think of The Wrestler?
I thought it was better than The Iron Claw.
Yes.
I think it was a better made film, and I think the main character was so sort of... He really felt like a real guy. He was... I know for sure there's people just like that. I felt so invested. It almost felt like a documentary. I think Mickey Rourke's performance as well was so real.
Right. Really
and I think
great.
he was heavily influenced as well by real wrestlers. I didn't care very much for the Marissa Tomei storyline. And yeah, maybe if it had slightly more of a narrative, but that's not really the point. So yeah, I don't know, you loved it. What do you...
I loved it. I think this is... After seeing this, I kind of feel like I should like The Sound of Metal less. Because The Sound of Metal is just this, but music. Like, almost exactly the same. Where you have very well-established, well-loved artist who is forced to stop doing what they're doing. They then need to try and come to terms with it and then decide they want to stay doing what they're doing. They want to stay in the art because they can't get away from it.
Yeah.
And I think this, The Wrestler compared to The Iron Claw, The Wrestler is, like you said, it's almost a documentary feel. It's all handheld.
It's like really, it must be like 16mm. It's really grainy.
Really grainy.
It's not like smooth movements with the camera too. It just looks like someone walking as they hold it.
Yeah,
like.
someone just following this guy around. And I thought it was just filled with loads of great moments. And just the way Randy the Ram Robinson is characterized is brilliant. It's really great.
It is, yeah. It is very much like what we were saying with the Iron Claw. It's he knows nothing else apart from wrestling. Yeah. And now he's got to the point where he really shouldn't be doing it anymore. Like, he doesn't know what else he can do. Yeah. And he takes up another job
is he without
at a supermarket deli. And at first it seems like, oh, actually he's great at this because he's a showman and he can, so he's great with customers. But then he's like, when he gets recognised for that, he realises like I was a giant in my wrestling, and now I'm doing this. It's his pride can't take that, and it just all consumes him, even with his daughter as well.
Yeah, it's framed as an addiction, isn't it? So he's forced out of wrestling because of a heart issue, and he's told that if he does any more strenuous exercise, then he will likely die. So he's forced out and pursues a relationship with May Parker, Peter Parker's auntie, who is stripping to try and get Peter through college in this film. It's great, but she doesn't want anything to do with him because he is a customer. But she convinced him to go and reconnect
also because
with his daughter.
he had that scrap with Iron Man as well.
He did, yes. He lost the accent. I don't know how, but that's also another reason why he's a terrorist.
Yeah, and obviously that's like her nephew's like mentor. Like they got that like family sort of.
Yeah, it's a bit awkward.
Yeah.
So he goes to reconnect with his daughter, and it's an uphill battle, but because wrestling is I guess an allegory for a form of addiction, whether it's in art, whether it's substance, he just can't stay away and stands her up for dinner to go and see a wrestling match. But even those wrestling bits were lovely. Like I've never seen behind the curtains of wrestling. You know where they're like talking and they're going up to him and he's like, I know I'm about to fight you, but good luck. You're doing great. You're gonna take off. Like you've got such great showmanship. Like what an interesting culture to look into.
It is interesting. The fact that the whole like narrative which the audience sees is just rivalry and just like. Let's do this. Oh, are you comfortable with me staple gunning you? And he's like, does it hurt? It's like, it hurts a little bit more taking it out, but it's not too bad. It's like, all right, fine, we'll do that. Then we'll go for a drink after.
And because he just can't stay away from this, I don't know, like you mentioned, because he's so well renowned in it, or because he loves it so much, he loves his art, that then his relationship with his daughter falls flat, and the relationship with Marissa Tomei falls flat until the climax. And he's drawn back in. It's like a grotty companion piece to Black Swan, really, whereas Black Swan is more a higher art, quote unquote higher art, and not being able to step away. This is the low grotty version of that. But
even though I mean from the audience's point of view, high art, low art, but it's still the ballet we see in Black Swan is still very demanding. And have you seen the photos of like ballerinas' feet, and they're fucked, like they're just all bruised, completely covered in plasters, and like all like, the bones, they're completely out of shape. Black Swan's a better film though, in my opinion.
Come on, Darren, make a different film. You've made two of the same film there. Yeah, one thing I thought very interesting, final fight, almost like a comeback fan favourite fight, going up against an American guy pretending to be from the Middle East as his character, and he gives his speech at the end about never giving up because it's for the fans and for the sport, and he's just like falling apart. But he never lands at the end. Did you see that? He
flies off into space. Yeah,
he does a Nathan Fielder. He gets on the top rope and he does his ram move, and he jumps off, but you never hear him land.
See, I kind of interpreted it. First of all, it's like, wait, is he meant to have like died there? Is that like a sort of Sopranos?
He died in place.
When it cuts to black, he got whacked. Like, I think it's kind of assumed that he dies very shortly after that.
Yes,
like while wrestling
in the ring.
Yeah. I was hoping it would end with like him finally being like, I'm going to give up this for the sake of my daughter, and it doesn't end like that.
No,
it doesn't happen.
It's a great non-arc, isn't it? Where you still go through the motions of a character starting in one place, learning their lessons, but deciding against it ultimately.
Well, yeah, because you still go through the character, but it's just like in our minds of what could have happened, what should have happened.
Yeah. Equally, either way, it's kind of one of those things where he could have fallen either way, depending on if the relationship with Tomei was slightly different, or with his daughter was slightly different, but giving everything for the art. Again, we've fallen into another almost perfect film. Not a lot to talk about other than just go and see it. It should.
Do you want to come up with a plot for The Wrestler 2?
Yeah, but he's an angel.
That's true, yeah.
It's like the original Gladiator 2 plot. Do you know that?
No.
Originally, I believe that he was sent back down from heaven to gladiate.
That's weird. It's his nephew, isn't it? In the new one.
In the new one, I don't know the Paul Mescal one. But yeah, originally it was Russell Crowe again, coming down from heaven to do more gladiator stuff. So I feel like that's the Wrestler 2, is being sent down almost like a Constantine film to wrestle demons.
To wrestle the Von Erichs and wrestle Brendan Fraser from The Whale.
That'll be like the Wolverine blob fight, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
From X-Men Origins Wolverine. What did you rate The Wrestler? I feel like this hasn't been a very long The Wrestler discussion, but...
I gave it 4 stars.
I gave it 5.
Wow, that's the most stars a man can have. Wow, we just watched 2 wrestling films. As we know, like Joshua is planning on doing a wrestling film next. Did you learn any filmmaking lessons?
Yes, I would probably take, in terms of where we are career-wise, I think there's more to learn from The Wrestler than there is from Iron Claw. That it was very minimalist in presentation, but it completely fits the tone of the film, the character in the film, and like the subject matter. The fact that it is grotty, and quote unquote low art, that presentation wouldn't work for something like Black Swan, for example.
No.
Maybe it could have worked for Iron Claw, being kind of similar.
I think it probably would have worked better, actually. Yeah, I think it was quite clean looking. Very
clean Iron Claw.
But so are loads of movies these days. I don't know why. It looks bad.
I would agree. Yeah. I would agree. Even the picture on Letterboxd of Iron Claw is like Zac Efron looking like a Greek god with his great He-Man
And then you
haircut.
look at any photo from like the 70s and 80s of the Von Erichs, and they're the stupidest looking men you've ever seen. They look ridiculous. They don't look cool at all.
Yes, that's what I would say. I think finding a way to link your kind of cinematic look to go hand in hand with subject matter and tone.
Yeah,
that's always something to think about. And just not having it mega clean. It's like we mentioned in the Argyle video. Yeah. Just don't do a Matthew Vaughn.
Yeah, even
pretend that they're actually living in this world.
Yeah, even have. I love the way the Batman looked. I think that's like the most recent, like sort of dirty looking film. Like, I'm not like film grain like this. Just there's always like you're always looking through something. There's always an out of focus thing in the foreground. There's like rain constantly. Just stuff like that. Just stuff to make it look more interesting, make the frame look more alive. I think is a good thing. And when everything is a minimalist, like perfect costumes and perfect, not a hair out of place. It just doesn't feel like real life, and it's boring, and that's not, to me, interesting at all. Right, well, that's a lesson. Got two for Iron Claw, 1 for Deadpool, 1 for I fucked it already. 1 for Wrestler,
1 for Deadpool 3. On to Cursed Double Features.
Shall I start? 'Cause mine are terrible.
Go for it.
I don't want to end on them. Cool. The Iron Claw and Masters of the Universe, because they use the same wigs, actually. They just borrowed them.
Yeah. That's where they saved money.
They just went into the like Universal storage department, got out some of the He-Man's old ones, and just stuck them on the actors. You got to save money. Something you got Zac Efron in the movie. You got to save money in other places. And I've got the Iron Claw and the Fall of the House of Usher, because they both follow an absolute knobhead watching all of his family die one by one. Each of his children.
That actually doesn't count because that's a TV show, not a film.
Oh, well, it's a mini-series though, so it's on Letterboxd.
Okay, all right, I'll let you off. I have the Iron Claw and Beau's Afraid, because I think Zac Efron's haircut was very loosely based off of the big penis at the end. The Iron Claw and the first Top Gun. Because they're 2 extremely heterosexual films about very burly men, often not clothed, and just a lot of touching, a lot of touchy-feely action. But they're straight films for straight men.
Yeah.
No, they're not. No, they're not. They're manly films for manly men.
Yeah.
The Wrestler.
I've got a terrible one. Let's just do it. I already accidentally said what it was. It's The Wrestler and Deadpool, because they both have stripper girlfriends and a terminal illness.
Yeah, true. I have The Wrestler and Hot Fuzz because they both have very bloody scenes at deli counters. I guess Hot Fuzz is a fish counter, isn't it?
Yeah, it is, yeah.
We have another famous reoccurring segment as of this week.
Oh my god, what?
So this week is the start of... Have we got a name for it?
Nope.
What about just very ominously, the poll?
Okay. Poll of the week is...
Poll of the week. This week we're doing Poll of the Week, and it's based on the Iron Claw. What is the poll, Matt?
So the poll of the week this week is Peter Serafinovich. So he's a great actor. He's
Right, don't be silly.
That was very silly. Sorry. Right. So this one hasn't really worked. So I only submitted it a few hours ago. We've not got very many votes. So I've done two. So I did. What do you think of the Iron Claw? Well, most people hadn't seen it.
I think we were the ones who loved it, decent, didn't like it.
One loved it, one decent, and one didn't like it. I don't know who the didn't like it was. I was the decent. You would have loved it.
Great.
And then it's got 6 didn't see it. So I'll put that up a few days in advance in the future. And I've also
finally onto our big one. This is what we want to start conversations for. So go to our YouTube channel. Go onto our Instagram stories. This poll will be up with the episode. So what is the big poll for this week?
Well, we've got, which Zac Efron are you? Is that one you're talking about?
Yes, that one.
Great. Well, again, that went up 1 hour ago. So currently it's a 3-way tie, 3 votes apiece, between Troy Bolton, Philip Carlyle, who I had to Google the name of, but that's his character in Great Showman, and Ted Bundy. Like, why? Who's picked that?
And Kevin von Erich.
But no one's given a single vote to Kevin von Erich. Weird,
so who are you going for? Who are you? Which Zac Efron are you? Who'd win in a fight?
I love Greatest Showman.
Oh, you think he would win in a fight?
Oh, I'd kill Troy Bolton easy. I'd kick his head straight off. The fact he's meant to be a basketball player and he's like a 5'7" white teenager. It's ridiculous.
You got to think, these 4 characters, they all drop in and immediately
is this like a Fortnite
they're
thing?
ready for a fight. Yeah, they've dropped in from the battle bus, okay. And what they'd usually have with them.
So Troy Bolton's got a basketball.
Basketball. Philip Carlyle's going to have a whip.
He's got a top hat, but who's a whip, yeah.
He probably has a whip.
And Ted Bundy
has a log.
Got a hacksaw.
And Kevin von Erich's got his brothers. Because that's who he comes with.
Massive muscles.
So who's winning the fight? I would say that Ted Bundy would talk his way out of it. He would talk his way out of a fight with Kevin.
He's got the KD.
He does. he would like log Kevin von Erich in the back of the head because he's too nice. He could talk him out of a fight, I think.
Well, Philip Carlyle's already dead, and so is Ted Bundy.
Yeah, but if Troy lays up on him,
Troy is not winning.
I think he could.
Troy Bolton is
if he gets a 3-pointer.
If Troy Bolton was in a Hunger Games, he would die instantly.
But he's got his head in the game. No one else there does. Kevin von Erich doesn't want to be a wrestler. Ted Bundy's too busy in court. Yeah. Philip Carlyle, I've never even seen the film, but presumably he's
it's a really
torn.
Good film. His whole conflict is his girlfriend Zendaya and his parents are racist.
So who are you giving it to? Who's winning this?
Winning as a fight.
As a fight. I think let's do it as a fight. Who's winning the fight?
Kevin von Erich.
I think Ted Bundy. I think he has the edge.
Yeah, it's Ted Bundy. Cool, right. That wasn't the question, though. It wasn't. Was which one are you?
No,
it wasn't which one would win in a Fortnite match.
We freestyled.
Cool. Well, next week we'll do more polls. I'm doing polls every day if I can. Vote in them. Suggest some if you want to. If you're interested. If you just want to find out an answer to something, we'll ask the public. But yeah.
Oh my god.
Sorry, that's just yawning. I yawned so hard I burped.
Excitingly, we also have our very first, and I've asked 15 episodes worth for this, but we have our very first listener write-in, audible version, an audio listener write-in. So I'm going to play this lovely message by Amy. Thank you for writing in, Amy. Listener, dedicated listener.
Thank you, Amy.
Amy has just heard the Saltburn with Noah and I episode.
Oh, not one of the best.
And this is their opinion on With No and I.
Hello, I finally listened to the Saltburn and With Nell and I podcast because I watched Saltburn last week and I think I enjoyed it, but I have been... I
Is this
described
the
it to
podcast or the film?
people as like feeling like I need 8 showers and an exfoliate after watching it. Like really, really grim. But very much enjoyed it. And your thing that you said about With Nell and I being like a series of vignettes is interesting because in the last scene,
it's interesting.
in Richard E. Grant's suitcase, is it his or is it Paul McGann's? It might be Paul McGann's actually.
I don't remember.
But there are 2 books that he has with him in his suitcase. One is The Picture of Dorian Gray, I think, and the other one is a book called Against Nature by Jacques Huysmans, who was a French aristocrat kind of fellow who was really eccentric and was an aesthete and wrote this book on aestheticism.
Aesthetics?
And the entire book is like a series of chapters on different things. I feel like the vignettes, I completely agree, it's not plot driven, it's kind of more vibe driven. But the vignettes maybe nod back to that book. I mean, why else would they show it at the end if it wasn't some kind of inspiration to it, or at least to the characters?
Thank you very much, Amy. Thank you for writing in, being our first actual write-in. And it was a bit of a big brain one there.
Yeah. Well, that's very interesting. I didn't know that. That's a good Easter egg.
I didn't know that either.
Well done to the director of that film, who I've already forgotten.
That was either With Nell or I can't remember which one.
Oh, that's it. Yeah.
But yeah, are you going to go and read the book?
Nope. I haven't read a book in years.
I didn't know you knew how to read.
I can't really, to be honest. The last book I read was Goblet of Fire, and that was about 2 years ago.
Oh.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Really good book, yeah. I just didn't want to... I felt like I peaked. I didn't want to read another one. I felt like I'm going to struggle to find one as good as this, and so I just sort of quit while I'm ahead.
You're right. You can't get any higher than Goblet of Fire.
Thank you. Right, I'm going to go wrestle some folks now. I'm going to go back into the ring. They're calling me. Under the red corner! So I'm sorry, guys. I have to go. But thank you, Joshua.
Thank you. I'll see you on the next one.
And I'll see... Oh, no. I'm being wrestled.
Matt, you're
sorry.
You're sat there by yourself in your room.
No. This is the sounds of the slamming of me onto the... Ow! That happened again.
I can see you. People at home can't see you, but I can. You're just sat there smacking the table. You are.
I'm not smacking. No, I'm being body slammed in the middle of the ring.
You're not being body slammed.
I do have to go now because I'm gonna die otherwise.
Are you going with the muscular, naked, oiled men again?
No, that's my other film.
I'll see you on the next one.
Bye. I'm gonna stop.